Now, spearheading the evening again for a third night in a row is going to be Snapshot Games. As you already know, they're developing the spiritual successor to XCOM. This is Phoenix Point. Our next speakers have been with Phoenix Point since the very beginning. They're going to tell us a little bit about their work. Please welcome on stage from Snapshot Games, Nedislav, Stoychev, and Filip Slavov.
Thanks.
Is this working? Hope. Okay. So, thank you, Vivo, for presenting us. And hi, we're still Ned and Filip. And today we will share with you some of our secrets from developing Phoenix Point. But first, can you make your artists happy at all? Well, sadly, the short answer is no. You can never. But if you give them the proper tools, probably you can avoid this. Believe me, this is I was on the edge to do this, or he asked to do this to me, so whatever. Yeah. So, if you didn't get the idea by now, today we will be talking about tools. I'll be talking about some of our workflow and UI process, and Filip will be presenting his Ragdoll tool. And of course, we hope you have fun. Back in the day, around the release of Backer Build 1, while we were still a small team and we were still trying to figure out our process, it was really hard and annoying to work on our UI, and we had to do something about this. So back then, we had this UI binding system that was binding Unity hierarchy objects with our code fields by name. And it was really hard because every time when the artist changed the name or the hierarchy of the Unity object, some programmer needed to change his code, and vice versa. If I change the code, the artist must change his name and Unity object's name and hierarchy. And this is bad, and this takes a lot of time, and it's really, really annoying. So, after the release, we sat down with our team, and we just embraced the way. We deleted all black magic, we just removed it. We removed the binding system, and we exposed our code fields, our code interactions, as we call them. These are buttons, events, icons, images, everything that the code uses. So the artist can be free from the naming conventions, hierarchies, and just to track the appropriate objects to their appropriate fields. And we had one major flaw that we had to fix. The problem with this thing is that if you forgot to link an object in the component, you will receive the error only when you play the game. And this is bad, because if you work half an hour, for example, and you press play, and there will be an error, and yes, you will want to smash your monitor. So we invented this little linkable asset validator, as we call it. It's a simple validator tool that goes through every marked component in the code, and on save, on play, on every action you do on a component that you want to validate, it will give you a notification or exception that there is a linked task in a specified model, and you need to do something about this. Believe me, this is still in our game. It's really useful because it helps us. When we're doing the mockups, it really helps us to know that we didn't set up the things correctly. So with those simple changes, our code in UI is separated. Our coders and artists could work separately. And we had a better feedback if the setup is correct. And of course, I hope we had happy artists. So,
yeah.
Now it's Filip.
Give me. Yeah. Okay. So, I don't know if you knew, but ragdolls are R2. In Unity, there is no concept for ragdoll as a whole. You use generic components that you attach to the rig bones that does the job for you. So these components are colliders, which gives the takes care of the collision and the form of the body. Rigid bodies, which moves the colliders in the physical world, and you cannot mass, drag, and other properties. And you have joints, which serves to lock two colliders in a chain so they move together based on some constraints. And using these components, you build your ragdoll. So let's build a ragdoll in Unity. How hard can it be? There are plenty of tutorials. Everybody's doing it, and there's even a YouTube video with 5-minute tutorial on it, so it should be simple. So let's begin. There's our character. Open the Unity wizard for ragdolls. And let's drag the needed bones to the corresponding fields. So we have pelvis, left foot, left knee, left what? We don't have those bones. This is a spider monster creature thingy. So it turns out that Unity Ragdoll Wizard works only for humanoid characters, which is sad. So let's try this one more time. We have our character, open the Unity Ragdoll Wizard, drag in the corresponding bones, and see the results. And again, what? These quadrants are horrible, they're huge, totally useless, and they look like that Michelin guy you all know. Okay, let's at least see it in action. Well, the knees need some work, the hands is a bit stiff, there's other problems too. So, not great, not terrible, yeah. As a great man said once on HBO. Yeah, so our technical artists need to go through all the bones in the rig, fix all the colliders, fix all the rigid bodies, fix all the joints, and add even more joints for greater detail of the ragdoll. And we have over 15 aliens and a ton of human equipment, body parts, and yeah, and there are a lot of bones. So also, let's not forget we still have to do this guy. Why does it have to be so hard? This is why we need tools to keep our artists from going crazy. There's a neat plugin in Unity Asset Store that helps out with this task. What it does is when you select the rig of the rig you want to fix, it shows you gizmos for all the colliders and joints in the rig, and you can directly move them and modify them. This is in action, the plugin in action. So what you must realize here is that you are not allowed to change the transform of the bones of the rig. If you do so, your changes will be overwritten by the animation of the rig later on. So you're only allowed to change the offset and the sizes of the colliders. I don't know if you noticed, but he's rotating a collider. And Unity colliders don't have a rotation property. How does he do this? So he has a little trick. He creates a child object with similar name, moves the collider to that object, and rotates that object. And this is a neat trick that you can use to rotate colliders without touching the rig, because it will move relative to the parent. This is another neat tool that we have in our project. Often, when you select a character in Unity, it selects the geometry, but more often you need to select the bone at that position. And we created a tool that when you select skin meshed renderer component, it draws all the bones that is skinned to, and you can click on any sphere and it will select that bone. And also shows the chain of the bones. This is not in Unity. In Unity you can't do this. You can't see your skinned bones. Okay, so in order for our ragdoll, our technical artists to fix the ragdolls, we created this ragdoll test ground scene for them to play around with the ragdolls, drag them, pin them in the air, or just throw them just smash them to the ground. Yeah. We added another neat feature, and you can toggle the gravity of the rigid bodies, yes, to turn it off. This way, your character becomes a still statue in the air, frozen. And this way you can test the limits of the joints easier, or just have some fun. Yeah, we had a lot of fun back then. Yeah. So this workflow has a problem. In order for artists to fix the joints, they have to change the properties of the components. But if you haven't noticed, there are a ton of properties, and they don't mean anything on their own. What the artists need is to tweak live each property to see the visual feedback of how it affects the ragdoll. And you can do this in play mode. And Unity has this great feature that, don't worry, you can play in play mode, tweak stuff, experiment, do whatever you want. You won't break the game. You just have to stop play mode and it will reset everything and you'll be fine. This is a limitation for us because our artists will lose their changes. So how we fix this? We added a button that saves all the changes from the rig in play mode to the original prefab. And this is how we solved our problem. When I created the ragdoll test scene, I put a single character in it, and I gave it to the technical artist. Yeah. And this is what it looks like now. I don't know about you, but this looks like a mess and also looks like a success because they're using it. This is a little bonus from backstage. Drifting away from tools. In our game we have the so-called flinches. What this means is that when your character is hit, we push him away from the source physically. This is not animated in any way. And we do this by having a second invisible ragdoll rig that is synced with the animation. When your character gets shot, we apply force to that rig and let it fall slowly. And then we blend the animated rig that you see with the animation pose and the falling ragdoll. And this is how we get this neat effect. And this is how we created this awesome GIF. Yeah, what you're seeing is that the invisible ragdoll rig being rendered out, and you see how it blends the two, and the result. Yeah. So this is from us. All the tools that you saw can be found here. The QR codes. And do you have any questions?
You can use them at the game jam. Just to mention that we are tomorrow on the job fair, so if you have more questions, come ask us, let's talk. And again, use those things into the game jam.
Yeah.
You can do some funny things with it.
Are there any questions?
Okay. Come on. Come on, Myron.
Well, if there are none, let's thank Ned and Filip and Snapshot Games for being here with us tonight.
Just one more thing. I challenge someone to make this into a game. Yeah, I leave you.